So, in thinking about a bigger picture podcast that I'm either going to do tomorrow, if not on Monday, brought me to a microcosm, and that is this. Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr or no Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks deserves better complementary linebacker play than he's gotten up to this point. And for me, Eric Wilson is a better NFL linebacker than Anthony Barr. First, we're going to look at some stats. Then we're going to look at the game film and see the difference between the two players. Looking at the stats first, the last 2 years, 2019 and 2018, we're going to look at the snap count. Anthony Barr has played a total of 1,737 snaps. You compare that to Eric Wilson, who's played just 715 snaps over the last 2 years. The difference, Anthony Barr has played 1,022 more snaps than Eric Wilson. We look at the statistical markup. Anthony Barr in those 2 years has had a grand total of 134 tackles. That's 30 tackles more, just 30 tackles more and 1,022 snaps more played than Eric Wilson. TFLs, Anthony Barr, 14. Eric Wilson, 10. That's 4 more than Eric Wilson. Quarterback hits, Anthony Barr, 11. Eric Wilson, 10. 1 fucking quarterback hit more than Eric Wilson. Sacks, 4.5 for Anthony Barr. 5 for Eric Wilson. Eric Wilson has more sacks than Anthony Barr with over 1,000 snaps more played for Barr. Blitz count. Oh, Anthony Barr, he needs to rush the passer more. Check this out. I shit you not. This is all coming from ProFootballReference.com. You can look this up yourself. Anthony Barr, over the last 2 years, has blitzed the quarterback. He has rushed the passer more than Eric Wilson, obviously, but the blitz count, Anthony Barr, 159 pass rush attempts in the last 2 years. 159. Eric Wilson, 30. 129 more blitz attempts than Eric Wilson. Also, in pass coverage, Anthony Barr gives up a better quarterback rating, 116.2. Eric Wilson, 103.7. Then we get to the game film. Eric Wilson is better in open field tackling. He's better at navigating his way in traffic, even through contact. I would say, even though Anthony Barr has a worse quarterback passer rating given up, I think they're honestly the same in terms of pass coverage depending on the matchup. I don't think necessarily one stands out more than the other, but here's the kicker right here. Eric Wilson, looking at the game film, Eric Wilson is way better in pass rushing, and he's a much better closer. We look at Anthony Barr, who really just plays half-ass like he's comfortable. He gives up immediately on contact, and I'm talking about with anybody. Offensive linemen, tight ends, fullbacks, running backs, wide receivers. And think about that. As an NFL linebacker, what the shit is that? And I don't like using this term very loosely at all. I think we have to be careful here. I'm not saying this is Anthony Barr as a man, as a human being, but as far as his play on the field as an NFL linebacker, Anthony Barr's play throughout his entire career outside of his rookie year, and I would even say to some degree his sophomore year, Anthony Barr's NFL play has been soft. Anthony Barr, if someone initiates contact with him, then he consistently gets wedged out the way. Oh, someone made contact with me. There's nothing I can do. We'll get him next time, coach. You compare that to Eric Wilson. If someone initiates contact with him, then he will fight his ass until the whistle gets blown. Go back to that Seattle game last year at CenturyLink, and I swear it just feels like we play these dudes at CenturyLink every single year, but I digress. In the third quarter, Eric Wilson made a stop before the ball carrier entered the plane or broke the plane for a touchdown. The very next play, Anthony Barr gets driven out the way by a wide receiver, DK Metcalf. I don't want to hear about DK Metcalf. Oh, he's a physical wide receiver, a physical specimen. You're an NFL fucking linebacker. Break that dude out the way and make a play. Rashad Penny ran the ball to the left side on Anthony Barr's side. If Anthony Barr breaks penetration or penetrates through the block, he makes the stop on Rashad Penny. Instead, you get driven out the way by a wide receiver, Rashad Penny. He scores the touchdown. This reminds me, I swear to God, like the Laquan Treadwell versus the Jarius Wright comparison, because not to say that Anthony Barr was as bad as Laquan Treadwell. There's no question that Anthony Barr is a much better football player than a Laquan Treadwell. But in comparison to someone else that you bring in once in a while, they get limited snaps compared to the other guy, but they make more plays in the limited of opportunities that they get compared to that other player. Don't tell me for all the excuses that I've been on this train for 3 years. I've said this forever that Anthony Barr, we can have Eric Wilson. I think he would be just fine. And oh my God, he does all the things that you can't see. Don't tell me that Anthony Barr is not allowed to make plays. You are allowed to make plays, Anthony Barr. There's no way that you can look at the film objectively, take the names off the back of the jersey and just say, okay, let's look at these two players. Look at the film. There's no way that you can look at the film objectively and say, you know what, Anthony Barr, oh my God, way better player. Eric Wilson is a better football player than Anthony Barr. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. We do this at least once a week. Mediocre at Best Sports Podcast with Realistic Randy. Check me out on Twitter at realistic_Randy, Facebook at Realistic Randy. We'll see you next time.